This week, Africa has been mourning one of the bloodiest massacres in its painful history. On March the 21st, 1960, commemorated in South Africa as Human Rights Day, police opened fire on more than 5,000 prosecutors in Sharpeville near Johannesburg as they protested against the country's past laws. 69 people died, most shot in the back when they were running away. And according to the inquest, 180 were wounded seriously. One of the wounded on the day was Elizabeth Chabeli, who had her finger shot off. 68 years later, she told CNBC Africa her story.
1960.
1960, 21 March, was a sunny day. I was raised by the grandparents, and my grandfather used to ride a bicycle to work. And he used to live at 5 a.m. in the morning. He woke up that day, like always, going to work, leaving at 5 a.m. When we thought the day was starting, he returned back home and told my grandma, said, "Mrs. Chabeli, it's ugly outside." And they said they should return home. They said, "We're going to protest about the Dompas. People are tired on carrying these documents in their own country. That no matter where you were, next door, or the shops, or anywhere really, you always have to carry that." At some point, they had enough. I was preparing myself for school at about 6 in the morning. I was going out to school. Some school kids were being turned back along the way. We ended up making it to school, but we were also turned back. They said we should go home. When we came back, we were playing games. And it was because we were given a day off school. And it was nice. Back in apartheid times, if you didn't go to school, then you were fetched from your home. When I got home, there was no one there. I put my books aside and I met up with all my other friends from the street. We started playing and it was nice. I'm not sure what time it was. But as we were playing, helicopters came out of nowhere. Some of the helicopters were red in color and flying low. So we were dispersed and everyone went home. And I also did the same. But there was no one at home. So I went and I hid in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom while the helicopters were causing havoc. When I thought it was safe and quiet, I came out of the bathroom and went through the gate and went to a footpath that was around the corner. I ran to the police station to look for either my grandma or my granddad because home was empty and that day was not a good day at all. When I got there, I found a lot of people gathered and singing. Sinzinina. It was full. I was busy searching everywhere for my grandparents. And in was looking everywhere. I could not find them. I suddenly heard a sound. I'm standing there lost, wondering where the sound was coming from. All of a sudden, I noticed people were running, so I also started running. It took was chaos. People were tripping over each other. At the same time, I was running. I felt something hit my hand, but I carried on running. While I was running, a gentleman came and took my hand and ran with me. When he got to a quieter place, he stopped and said, "My child, where do you stay?" I was searching, lost and confused, but I could feel that I was not well. I said to him, "Can we come closer to my home?" And I met a neighbor who was also running when he saw me. And he ran to get his car. When he arrived, he put me in the car. We drove to the hospital. I must have dozed off because when I woke up, I was in the ward and my hand was wrapped with bandage. After 2 days, the nurse came to change the bandage. And as she was unwrapping it, she says to me, "Have you seen how your hand looks?" I said, "No." She said, "Look at it." When I did look, I found that I have been shot this way. I stayed in the hospital for about a month, and then I was discharged from hospital and went home. When I went back home, it was already time for me to go back to school.